Hey guys, how's it going? Michael Troy here. Today we're looking at Fantastic Four by Byrne Omnibus Volume 2. Can't wait to share it with you. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that like button and let's get right into it. Okay, my video for Byrne's Fantastic Four Omnibus Volume 1 was so popular, I couldn't wait to get into the second one. And honestly, I have Fantastic Four fever, just like everyone else, with the movie coming out. New series coming out, facsimiles being done of the Kirby Lee issues, which are so amazing. This is going to be so good for me. I forgot to mention how much I hate dust jackets in the last video. They really do just bring down the value of the book, in my opinion. And they're supposed to protect them. But they are fun, and it gives us extra art, so I'm not going to complain. Okay, so keep in mind, this is Volume 2 of Byrne's Fantastic Four Omnibus. Look at how thick this MFR is. I mean, most comic book artists probably could never fill like a whole omnibus, let alone several of them, the way Byrne has. Speaking of which, the Wonder Woman by Byrne volume or omnibus is coming out, I think, in September, so be on the lookout for that. Love this great cover. This looks so cool. I loved She-Hulk and the Fantastic Four. Like, that was so thrilling for me. I love She-Hulk. I love She-Hulk by Byrne. It was so cool when she joined the team. I'll never forget that splash page of her appearing in Central Park in her modified FF uniform. So fun, so cool. What a waste. We should not be seeing blank white pages in a comic book unless it's Alpha Flight issue 6, if you know, you know. Fantastic Four Omnibus Volume 2. So good. Love this thing here. This is the issue that Al Gordon inked. It stands out as looking very different from the rest of his art. And I'll get more into it when I get there. I predicted and knew it would be Alpha Flight issue 4 with Sue and Namor in it. Had to start out this omnibus. And low-key, Alpha Flight is my favorite property from Byrne or comic that he's ever worked on. I know I'm probably in the minority on that one, but I've also covered that omnibus as well. So look for that if you like. This is so cool. I love this. I think it's so much fun about the Marvel Universe when they just pop up randomly in each other's books. Alpha Flight was so cool. The art was so good. I love Snowbird turning from a polar bear into, she can turn into like Nordic animals, like fun, cool power, right? Aurora, another favorite Guardian, as I just lapse into Alpha Flight and this is such a great issue. I love it. Sue Storm looks so great. I love this era of Byrne's art. The Master here. Namor and Marina would eventually get married. And then she would flip out and stuff. Marina was kind of an interesting character. She was created for Alpha Flight and Byrne pretty much wrote her out by issue 2 and didn't bring her back again just to sort of torture her further. I say issue 2, but here we are, issue 4, and she's here. But more like a guest star, right? Or she does take off with Marina. And this is from the Fantastic Four, I think. Oh yeah, so obviously that's the omnibus. Byrne's story and art. I love this page. I mean, married Sue Storm, just Namor planting one on her, no problem. And she's like, oh, that's kind of hot. Maybe we should get married. I don't know, crazy, right? I mean, it's obviously before they're married, but Silver Surfer dropping in for good measure. Love the Silver Surfer. Interestingly, somebody just said that Byrne doesn't draw a good Silver Surfer. And how can anyone say that based on, that one album cover that uses Byrne art as the Silver Surfer? Wanda, I love Scarlet Witch, especially by Byrne. You can tell that she's one of his favorite characters, especially what he did to her in West Coast Avengers, right? Always love the retelling of the FF's origin. So much fun. I love when Byrne would, he could have easily just drawn them. I feel like that's what they do in modern comics now, and I hate that. If this were a modern comic, they would be drawing this, but they would have them in their current incarnations, I feel. And Byrne always paid direct homage to, how they were supposed to look or the way they looked. in their original inception. And you gotta love that puristness from Byrne, eh? That is so cool. It's so funny because these are like the images that are burned into my brain from John Byrne. Like the classic images of so many of these characters are quintessential Byrne, in my opinion. He definitely made so many of them his own. Most people agree that Byrne's run is only second to Lee and Kirby. He does a great Lilandra and Guardian here. Guardian? No. Is that his name? I did this last time and it's so confusing. I don't remember. But anyway, also funny is how often John Byrne put himself in the actual comic book. I mean, he's kind of known as having a little bit of an ego. I know it's Assistant Editors Month, but let's not do anything too silly on the cover. The Trial of Reed Richards, brought to trial for saving Galactus. I love how the Shire is like the moral compass of the Marvel Universe, constantly calling them out. Calling out Phoenix for killing 5 billion souls, calling out Reed Richards for saving the Earth Devourer and the Watcher. John Byrne, I have come for you. Is this the issue where he says, calm yourself, John Byrne? I love that so much. It should be a t-shirt. Oh, I made it one on Society 7. Ha ha ha. Or 6. Is it Society 6 or 7? I love this. This is such a great thing. I wonder if Todd McFarlane, who used a lot of huge profiles in the beginning of his career, got that from that. I mean, he is a big Byrne fan. He said that he would love to ink a Byrne page once in his life. And I think there's an opportunity for it if Marvel ever published John Byrne's X-Men Elseworld fan fiction. That would be cool. And just had a bunch of amazing people come on and ink it. This is cool. Odin, just once again dropping in for good measure. This effect here, I feel like Byrne kind of used Xerox copy technology for some of his art, and that smacks of that for some reason. I feel like you would see it in some of his cityscapes and stuff. That's a particularly cartoonish, joyous-looking Human Torch there. I totally forgot the outcome of this. I just busted this out of the plastic, guys. I have not read these in years. I'm definitely going to have to sit down and read it. I love this cover so much. I think it owes a lot to the colorist, but some Byrne covers just really, really stand out. I also love how, and this had to be intentional too, I had noticed on a lot of the Silver Age comics, when there's balloons on the cover, they have a really thick border around them. So that kind of mirrors that, and I love it. Calm yourself, John Byrne. Did he say it already? I think he did. And I loved it. It was great. Great corner box art. Classic. Love it. R&R. It was always fun. I love Franklin here, sitting there, stirring the pot, literally. As Sue's about to knock over the paint with her pregnant belly. And there's Reed, there's just something so charming and great about this scene, what do you call it? I don't know, just wholesome. Yeah. And I love the familial aspects of the Fantastic Four one. Jim Novak letters, Glynis Wein colors. So Glynis and Bob Sharon would bounce back and forth on colors, it seems. I love Reed altering his appearance. This is from Hot on the Heels of their trip to the negative zone. So they're going to live in the suburbs and try to have a normal life for Franklin after the trauma of him and Alicia being attacked by Annalise. I love this Human Torch costume. I think it's so fun. It is so simple but so sleek at the same time. I love that he's a race car driver. I love Julie Angel just showing up in a 2-piece bikini to, encourage him. Part of the great FF supporting cast. Great sound effect here. And, can a car chase really be that exciting in a comic? I've talked about this before, and usually not. And I think this is kind of an example of that. Not too exciting until the crash here. This art is freaking beautiful. That looks so good. Speaking of cartoon characters, so they're at a mock Disneyland or something. I can't believe he actually has actual burns on his arms. I didn't think he would get injured like that, but there it is. This is fun. I love when John Byrne, you know, because he's so like recognizable in his own classic style. I love when he leans into like a different kind of style of either cartooniness or like really artistic, and that's a good example of that. I am the Messiah. So like silly, like I am the Messiah, but I really look like a young Colonel Sanders. Like that is scary, by the way. The Mole Man. You know, it's always so fun to see Byrne draw the classic characters. I just love it so much. I feel that way about George Perez too. Like it was like Crisis was like a dream come true, seeing him draw all those characters. Do you know, fun fact, that John Byrne was initially asked to draw a Crisis on Infinite Earths and he turned it down. Can you believe it? It would have been so different. I mean, he would have been like such a pain in the ass on that, I feel. And like, I can't even imagine. I mean, I don't feel like, did he ever really work with Marv Wolfman? I think it must have happened at some point, maybe Marvel Team Up or something like that, right? Um, so weird, like just seeing all the cartooniness happening here, right? Why do I not remember this cover at all? Oh, the Thing trapped in the arena. No, because it's from the issue of the Thing, but I still don't remember that cover. That's so weird. And then we have an issue of the Thing. I guess, you know, in these omnibus, John Byrne is the scripter, but they have to fill in, like, you know, because there's always crossovers and stuff happening. Hillary Barta, anchor over Ron Wilson. This is super interesting. Alicia with her new buzz cut, thanks to Annalise. Before she dumped Ben for Johnny. How crazy was that, right? I think it probably happens within this omnibus. I don't know if Hillary Barta is the right anchor for Ron Wilson or not. Just saying. Thing almost looks like the lizard in there. Totally don't remember this issue at all, but this is leading up to Secret Wars. And here we go. Oh my gosh, yes, so cool. The issue where She-Hulk appears. I love this cover. Like, I feel like this is still when secrets could be kept, because I feel like it was a total surprise that She-Hulk joined the Fantastic Four, and I was living for it. The big green question mark. I'm not sure the world is ready for this. Maybe not, but I sure am. You're such a cad, Johnny. Ben's your best friend. So Ben stayed on Beyond Our World to figure it out, and John Byrne, everything except lettering by Mike Higgins and coloring by Glynis Wynn. That's right, one-man show, Byrne. I always thought this was a fun issue of, I think that's the Trapster, breaking into the Baxter building, and I always like when they do something fun and interesting, different. What's the name of is it like Bernice or something? But I love the Fantastic Four's robot, what do you call it, secretary. I mean, you have to show her from the waist down, you just have to. Homer for the heroes. Mrs. Richards, please, Jarvis. Oh my gosh, Jarvis, you're screwing up his stew or whatever the hell you're doing. Kind of fun to see Sue Storman interacting with Jarvis. Here comes Alicia. Did she have a vision? She did. No, I mean, I feel like there was like a flash, yeah, when they disappeared, and even she saw it, even in her blindness. So that is ominous for sure, right? And I love them kind of discovering this in Central Park, and they're all investigating. And then, of course, they're all going to be, like, kidnapped to the Beyonder world to duke it out in the Secret Wars. And this, oh my gosh, this is, like, one of the most joyous, beautiful, amazing, stunning pages ever. Whoever owns this original is so lucky. It must have been so expensive, or it will be, again, when they resell it. And just easily one of the best images of She-Hulk ever. I love it. Fun fact, again, when Byrne took over Wonder Woman, he had a very hard time finding her face and said he just drew She-Hulk for the first few issues. I love this negative effect here. Very loose, kind of splotchy, splatty, Kirby crackle in a way. Another gorgeous page right there. Did we skip this issue? Oh no, so weird. I feel like there's only 2 pages. I'm so curious, like, how they put it together. Like, why is the cover over here? Maybe it's pages from another issue or something crazy. This feels like a mistake. John Byrne's story in inks. Carrie Gemmell Oh, pages 3 through. Okay, so it wasn't. Byrne just drew the first 2 pages. I guess I didn't remember that. Stunning, stunning, beautiful She-Hulk there. Carrie Gimmel, another amazing, great artist that people really love. Inked by Byrne here is so interesting because it looks so Byrne-y, right? One of my favorite images from Carrie Gimmel, of course, is the Marvel Age annual one where he drew every freaking character. No backgrounds. If you know, you know. But I remember really loving this issue. And I think the blow was softened by the fact that Byrne inked it himself, so it still kind of looked like Byrne. But hey, Carrie Gimmel, I mean, if you're going to have a guest penciler, have that one. This, you see, it's so funny. I'm appreciating this in a different way now that I've been reading the facsimile, like first Lee and Kirby issues for the first time, because I really do sense and see the direct reverence that Byrne had for the source material. It really comes through. This was such a great issue too. This is what I'm talking about with like that sort of Xerox copy. I mean, clearly that's like a photo of New York or something, city sky, and manipulated in a way. So Byrne really, and great use of Zipatone there on Ox Arm. So very cool cover, love it. Although I hate a coloring mistake like that, She-Hulk's hands and boots colored green. That, you know, I feel like the one person colored the covers and they dropped the ball a lot. Because sometimes there were just certain mistakes like that that would drive me crazy. Yeah, this was a great issue where Sue loses the baby, and I don't know, it was just very sad. And then she would go on to have Valeria, which is such a weird character to me. She doesn't really feel as much part of the mythos, even though she's been around forever, so I guess she is. But Franklin feels definitely like the mythos to me. I don't know. But they're kind of their own little Fantastic Four, right? I always thought this was cool too. I always liked and appreciated seeing like the mechanics of how it works. Apparently this is like an earlier model or where he had to use his hands. Like I guess he at some point established like a telekinetic rapport with his mechanical arms, which only a comic book nerd would ever say something stupid like that. It sounds so weird saying it out loud. Yeah, she lives with the baby. Poor Sue. Spoilers. See, another great cover. I don't know who did this. They were doing some, like, fun photo covers at Marvel back in the day. This probably was, like, I think I read about this, and it was, like, maybe made out of cardboard or something like that. But, you know, as far as, like, what they can do now with everything, it's, you know, it is what it is. But it was so cool back in the day. Hell, it's still cool. I'll put it as one of the classic, like, different kind of covers. This is so good too. Like, you just really feel the isolation and the loss here. You know, clearly she's no longer pregnant and there's no baby, so it is sad. Jen's new to the team and she feels like she's intruding. So I love those kind of character moments. Love the retelling of She-Hulk's origin here, with a generous amount of Kirby Crackle in tow. Some more photocopy manipulation. And I love it. I love it. So the Mask of Doom, how ominously behind the glass. And then we know what happens. The mask itself would attack them. And that is like such a great gag in itself. Just this freaking face flying around the halls of the Baxter building attacking Johnny and Jennifer. It's so funny. And then after just like going through so much, love that panel. That is so cool. You know, Reed is just like, you could do so many crazy things with his power for sure. Fantastic Four Annual, The Wedding of Black Bolt and Medusa. I believe this like, I don't remember ever reading this. Mark Bright pencils, John Byrne plot, Mark Grunwald script, Mike Gustovich inks. Well, what do you know? How do you like that? Oh my gosh, my buddy Mike Gustovich, great classic comic artist. I did not see that coming. How cool is that? I love it. This is The Wedding of Black Bolt and Medusa. Like, how crazy is that? I don't know why I always felt like, shouldn't they have been married by now? But I guess not. That is wild. I see a lot of Mike's art in here. A lot of Mike's art in the inks for sure. Over Mark Bright. Two very like classic sort of house style kind of artists, right? Give me my Byrne. How fun is that? She-Hulk dipping Gorgon like okay, Return to Byrne, 269. The world's greatest comic magazine. Who is Terminus? Another great cover. I love that. Like just wildly imaginative, one after the other. This, I believe, was my introduction to Wyatt Wingfoot. What a great character. I love him. He'd be great in the movies. Did they ever put him in the movies? They should have. Like, he could almost be, like, why has there never been, like, a Wyatt Wingfoot solo comic? Hey, Marvel, you're sitting on a great character here. Another photo manipulation. This is the Xerox era of Byrne, apparently. He's having lunch with Sharon Selleck. Total weirdo. He always was so dismissive of her. Well, she kind of liked him anyway, and he didn't like her. And then here, are they dating yet? Or is this just the beginning of Johnny and Alicia's romance? Some more fun moments with Sue and Franklin. I always enjoy those. And Reed geeking out is always a fun moment. This is a very powerful panel. I love it. You know, I often talk about, like, Claremont success stories, like Storm being one of them. I just feel like he just really added so much to her character. And I feel like Byrne kind of did the same thing with Sue. He really established her and made her amazing and made her stand out. Terminus, definitely see the Kirby elements in the design here, so I'm guessing that's a throwback. Another great cover, largely due to the coloring, I would say. Pink always pops on a cover. I always love when John Byrne draws, like, interiors of apartments. Like, his dad was an architect, and you can feel, like, the reverence he has for that. Like, I often thought it would be fun if he illustrated, like, an issue, an article in Architectural Digest, like, showing the different apartments he's designed over the years. Like, I think one of Peter Parker's was actually Rachel and Phoebe's, or not Rachel and Monica's from Friends, if I'm not mistaken. Not a lot of backgrounds in here. Some people diss Byrne for not drawing backgrounds, and I do think that sometimes maybe he did leave out some backgrounds, but when he doesn't, my goodness, he definitely is filling them in. He is definitely going through the Black Magic India ink, I will tell you that. His ink of choice from back in the day. I don't know. I think he used Higgins. You know, I was always, like, reading interviews and stuff like that, trying to figure out how to draw exactly like John Byrne. So, you know, you had to know this stuff. This is so crazy. I love, like, this big, I don't know, this is so epic and swirling and amazing. And this big, like, dying alien is always a good sight gag, right? Wyatt and Jennifer, one of the best, most fun relationships in comic books, definitely. I love this cover, too. Total throwback to, like, the Kirby Monsters era. Happy birthday, darling. This is so famous and so used for so many birthdays if you're a comic geek. And unfortunately, it's like Sue's perm mullet hairdo and big square chin. So not the best look for Sue, but perhaps it was, I don't know, okay at the time. I don't know. It's like, if you could just pull your ass away from another dimension for 1 second to celebrate your birthday. I think he was supposed to be 40 here, too, which would have made, you know, Sue 27 or something like that. I don't know. He was, like, very inappropriately older than her, which I think they redacted, or what do they call it? Not redacted, but reduxed. Anyway, boy, coupled with this, like, this crazy blouse. Wow. That is some fashion statement, Susan. Not as bad as your Malice bikini, but we're getting there too, right? I love this so much. I love him trying to, like, channel the style of Kirby here. Like, I don't know, is it good? Sort of. That's cool. Cowboys and idioms. I remember not like loving this, like the Fantastic Four Old West, but kind of liking it. I don't know. I did love their like away team kind of outfits here with the vest. That was fun. I love that. Like, why not, right? And this, talk about, okay, so this is a perfect example of a beautiful double page spread where you're breaking it up into panels, but the whole thing is kind of a spread. And this is definitely something that can only be done in comics. And this is what I like to see, people utilizing the amazing format of comics to its best advantage in a situation like this. I don't have the best framing this. These omnibi are a little larger than a normal comic book, so it's kind of cumbersome. They are cumbersome, right? Like, it's hard to sit there and read an omnibus in your lap. It really is, especially one this thick. And now, after saying what I said, I'm like loving this Old West aspect. I think it is so much fun. It is so cool. I remember really loving Sue putting this bubble around her and just like running in it. I just think that Byrne was always so cool and creative with her powers. I also like how, since she's invisible or has an invisible force field around her, her costume is slightly lighter than it should be. So that's just a good colorist right there. This is fun. It's clobbering time. How dare She-Hulk co-opt Thing's battle cry? Oh my gosh, that's almost blasphemy, but she should have her own. But I'll allow it because I love her so much. And that's just fun too. You know, she really did fill the spot of Thing in such a perfect way. She's so happy-go-lucky. I think one of the big differences is, you know, she loves being She-Hulk. So this is just a thrill ride for her. This is like the best gig ever. Whereas Thing is more like a curse. So, you know, he does the best he can with it. But, you know, it is a curse. I don't know. He'd rather be human. You know, wouldn't that be the best way? Fantastic Four: The End, which I never read, but in there, like, Reed should be curing Ben at some point. I feel like that's when the story ends, don't you? Like, in a way, like, or it could, like, I feel like this whole thing has been about, you know, Reed looking like looking for a cure for his best friend that he basically caused. And that's why the original dynamic of the Fantastic Four works so well. And then he meets his father, or is this his grandfather? Fathers and others, I don't know. That was kind of weird and confusing, but I don't really remember. I'm definitely going to have to plot my ass down and reread these two huge omnibi. This is cool here. See what I mean? Another, like, great, engaging, like, spread across the page. I love that. It flows so nice and cool. Great use of negative space there. Wyatt, Wingfoot. It's so funny, all the illiterate names in comic books, because they're easy to remember for the writers and the readers, which, you know, makes a lot of sense, especially if there's a large group of characters and blah, blah, blah. John Byrne, another issue of The Thing. John Byrne, scripter. Ron Wilson, breakdowns. Mike Gustovich, returning again for inks. 70 years old and still working. He has a pinup in my Elementals book, and he's still doing commissions. Look him up on socials if you want a fantastic picture. Oh my gosh, he is, like, so amazing, and now more relevant to draw the FF than I remembered. Thing versus Frankenstein. Who the frick doesn't want that? Okay, so this is the issue, guest inked by Al Gordon, and I can't remember if he said he did or did not like the way he did it, but he gave specific instructions to Al to sort of, like, maintain the integrity of his pencils, and kind of, I think he inked it exactly the way he drew it, which makes perfect sense. Like, I feel like Bob Wiacek inks Byrne exactly the way he draws it. This seems a little more on the nose. And it did look so different. Like, and not in a bad way. I did enjoy it. But it does. Doesn't it look just so different? It's so weird in a way. Monster Mash, great splash page. It was so much fun to have this issue because it was nice to have Thing back in the FF after, you know, I mean, as much as I do like She-Hulk as a guest fill-in, you know, the FF has to be the main four. It just has to. This is so cool here, too. I loved it. Reed was housing the Venom costume, and it escaped. I love it. It's very Reed-like there, too. But I just thought that was fun and cool. Another issue by guest inker Al Gordon. A special hat tip to Kevin Nolan for the inspiration for this story. Ooh, very interesting. Famous issue. I forgot, like, this is, like, at the time when, like, Madonna, like, had her nude pictures, like, leaked in Playboy, and there was all the controversy and stuff. So things like that were in the headlines that I think definitely were to inspire a story like this. So She-Hulk's sunbathing on top of the Baxter building topless, and this helicopter photographer gets some pictures of her, and they're going to sell them to a girly magazine. Oh, the scandal. And another photocopy, Xerox shot, whatever. I don't know exactly what to call them, but you know what I mean. Wyatt Wingfoot, so cool. I love that character. And, you know, I mean, just because he's shirtless and sexy, that just has nothing to do with it. This is so much fun, too. I love this. Like, the sight gags of this, like, just She-Hulk busting through the window. I mean, why would you do this to yourself as an artist? That is so crazy and so amazing at the same time. I love it. Sorry, guys. This is a fun kind of gag, too. I love that. Very, very comic booky, right? So she's going to try to, like, stop them from publishing these photos of her. And, you know, she is unsuccessful, even as a lawyer. But the good news is that when the issue finally came out, they color corrected them so it doesn't look like She-Hulk. And apparently, like, it happened to an early issue of an early episode of Star Trek, which is either true or not true. I don't know, but it'd be kind of fun if that was part of it as well. This is crazy that She-Hulk has a Mickey Mouse t-shirt on years before Marvel would be gobbled up by Disney. Very, very foreshadowing there. And now it's super appropriate, right? Another amazing cover. This is a beautiful black and white cover. This is an amazing use of negative space. And do we get Agatha Harkness? And now introducing the inking wizardry of Jerry Ordway. And what inking wizardry it is. I have, like, mixed feelings because it looks so gorgeous and amazing. It really is such a great era. But it does look so Ordway. So, I don't know. But it's kind of cool at the same time. I think it was, like, super successful. I think they definitely gelled together more as it would go on, looking at this first issue here. But, I mean, I think I kind of loved it at the time. This is fun. Their little house party. Their, like, housewarming party in the suburbs. Sue with her, you know, brown wig. I love Dagwood and Blondie are here. There's other, like, characters that I'm sure I should know, but I don't. Him, like, who is that, right? Point him out, call him out if you're still watching in the comment section. I'd love to know. Is this the woman who would become Agatha Harkness? Was she Agatha all along? I guess we'll find out. This gagged me. I love that. This blue color hold and all this gorgeous, like, Ordway zipatone was so amazing. I just love that. Reed slightly altering his face. I mean, that's more convincing than Superman putting on a pair of glasses, for God's sakes. I was just reading a Superman, and I hate that they worked Lex Luthor into his, like, that they grew up together. I hate that so much, I cannot even tell you. Especially since, like, you're not going to tell me that someone you spent basically every day with, you forgot who they were just because they took off their glasses. My God. I mean, especially since you probably saw them with other glasses the whole time growing up. Anyway, I could go on and on. This is so cool. I love that so much. This is just powerful. And I love they can't escape, you know, their superhero life, even in the suburbs. It's almost worse. Sue is like, no. Any chance to get Sue in her bra and panties, right, Byrne? That's okay. The Knights of Hades. This is so cool. An innocent blood spill, and what comes from it? Well, I guess it's Mephisto. Dun, dun, dun. How cool is that? I love this Doctor Strange bit in the back here. So much fun. So cool. Ordway was absolutely the right anchor for this, I think. I love this cover, too. Oh, yeah, this was actually like a rip on his Sideways issue, because the top half of the book is going to be the Thing story across the way, and the bottom half is going to be the FF story. Love the Zipatone in the title here. So that's cool. All Ordway. You know, you can definitely see the hallmarks of Ordway's inking all over the place. The rich textures and patterns that he brought. Their name was Benjamin. He's like, no, it's not. It's the Fantastic Four. I mean, how did they get away with that? Uh-oh, and here comes Thing finding out about Johnny and Alicia. Oh, yeah, that was kind of crazy and heartbreaking and awful, right? I mean, just to add another layer to the, you know, tragedy of the Thing. His girl leaves him for his best friend. Ugh. And then when she slaps him and calls him an oaf, he's like, he can't even feel it, but it brings the sudden tears to his eyes. Oh, it's bringing tears to my eyes right now. I love this here, Mephisto pulling Reed's head apart like that. It just looks so awful. Byrne is one of those writers that is never afraid to torture his characters and just really put them through the ringer. You know, all for the good of the entertainment of the story, of course. Franklin in this crystal. Poor Franklin. I mean, he's been through a lot. So John Byrne has a reputation of drawing, like not being able to draw children well. And until someone pointed that out to me, I never like minded his children. Like, I think they're okay. I mean, they're not the best, but you can't be everything, I guess. This is another cool cover. I love that. So tropey. Stanley presents John Byrne, script and pencils, Jory Ordway inks. Another classic freaking shot of Dr. Doom. You know, Byrne just has a lot of classic shots of like Dr. Doom, Magneto, Doc Ock, Mole Man. I mean, there's nothing this man can't draw, as you can see. A true testament to this. I love Vane, Victor Von Doom. So handsome, gets a little scar on his face and has to hide behind a metal mask for the rest of his life. This, oh my gosh, I remember just reading this for the first time and how horrifying it was, having the heated mask like fused to his face as he, oh gosh, like what a horrifying origin, eh? Look at how much like Ordway is putting into this, like so many little details and lines. It looks gorgeous. And oddly, even using an inker, another Xerox copy cityscape dropped in. Which, you know, John Byrne draws amazing cityscapes. I'm not mad at them, but, you know, I guess when you look at it all at once, you realize just how many, you know, that's kind of like the blessing and the curse of like reading Omnibuy or binge watching a season of your favorite show. Sometimes you figure out the formulas if you're digesting it all at once. And it's sort of like revealing the curtain. Another, like, I love when the Baxter building is just uprooted intact and taken somewhere else. Like, your suspension of disbelief has to be really high for something like that. And of course, you know, John Byrne is going to do that. I kind of like this version of Doom's costume. I think it's fun. Like, it's a little bit of a tweak, but not a departure. And present in this, like, great silk wall hanging I used to have that Marvel was making in the God, was it the 80s? Yeah. Um, you know, I just love it. Like the splash page, the Baxter Building just flying through space like that. It's just so crazy. Great spread. Love that. And it blows up, which is even crazier. And they're just kind of all scattered, floating around space. Poor Franklin. This must have been a bitch and a half to ink. Oh my gosh. If I were Ordway, I'd be like, by the way, I quit. This is cool here. I love seeing fun, effective, different uses of their powers. It's always a thrill. That's a great panel there. So, Doom. You know, like, I don't know. It's hard to say who, like, I mean, I guess Doom is the greatest FF villain, right? But Galactus is so freaking cool, too. I mean, they really do have, you know, any hero or team can be measured by their bad guys, their rogues gallery, their villains, whatever. And the FF sure does have some cool ones. See, once again, a color mistake. She-Hulk's collar is green here. It should be white. I just hate that so much. I'm a colorist myself, and oh my gosh, when I catch mistakes that I've made, it's horrifying. And there always are mistakes. I love this too, what is it, the hate monger? There's just so many different, like this was just, I just love the Fantastic Four. I hope the movie's good. I'm cautiously optimistic. It looks like they're finally getting it right. People are bitching about the story, but we'll see what happens. You know, I try to separate my comics from my comic book movies because they're two entirely separate things. And if you want to enjoy them, you're going to have to do that. I loved like all the hatching and the great art going on in this panel. It's so beautiful. And here, one of the greatest gags ever. And further, like the further continuation of like what a great, well-rounded character. It took years for Byrne to tell Sue's story, and it is a good one. You know, she becomes this like villain as sort of like a manifestation of all her like angst and oppression, and I don't know. It's such a great, great villain. This is it. And I love too, like, you know, it kind of reminds me when the White Queen took over Bobby Drake's mind, and she was doing all these great things with his power. So Malice is like using Sue's power differently than she would, because, you know, it's still kind of a secret that Malice is really Sue at this time. But if you look for like the little tells and the power and things like that, you can figure it out. And then the reveal, oh my stars and garters, Susan. A lot of deception going on here. I like a fun, like techie kind of panel like that. And then Franklin had a dream that mommy killed you. Oh, Franklin, go back to bed for real. And I also love, I forgot where it happened, and who did it, but Mr. Fantastic getting his arm broken when it shouldn't happen. This is another great dramatic splash page that shows the strengths of an inker like Jerry Ordway. His lighting and shading is just like off the chain. Beautiful cover here. Love that. I feel like that's iconic as well. Amazing double page spread. See, this is what I mean. Like, I know to save time, but why is Byrne ever using a Xerox when he can draw cityscapes that look like this? So gorgeous. Because they probably take forever. So the hate monger is like just everyone's pissed off. New York is burning. Sue is Malice. The FF are in dire straits. Here comes Daredevil. Oh my gosh, so cool. Love seeing Daredevil pop in, getting punched out by some old homeless woman, calling him a jive honky. That is hysterical. I love that. Don't touch me. I don't want no jive honky touching me. What in the name of? Yeah, see, everyone's like on the hate tip, so it's happening. Poor Alicia, blind, roaming the streets of New York by herself. Luckily, Johnny found her. This page was so cool. I love that too, seeing Reed's, like, that effect and Reed there. That had to smart. She's like, no, you idiot. You can't even see me now. Blah, 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 blah. This is like the greatest speech ever. This is going to make you want to bust out your FF issues and read this because it's so good. Oh, and then we have a little snippet from Secret Wars 2, the much maligned and lamented Secret Wars 2, that gave some of the greatest like crossovers though, for sure. Secret Wars 2 crossover. Yeah. See, that was one of the bitches about people like John Byrne and working at Marvel in the time. Like, there were so many like mandated crossovers with books and stuff. Like, it made it impossible for them to like stay on track with their own storylines. So that must have been a pain in the ass. This is a great opening sequence too. Like, just something as different as not, you know, like trying to create like a dreamlike sequence by not using panel borders. I thought just, you know, the slightest tweak and super effective. And then we get to see some Power Pack action going on. I kind of forgot that Franklin joined Power Pack, and I loved Power Pack, mostly because of June Bridgman's art, which was amazing. But it had fun, like, little horse characters and aliens. It was so good, you guys. Written by Louise Simonson, mind you. Yeah, and I think they look great here. Like, who says Byrne can't draw kids? He drew the hell out of this. Maybe it was helped by Wordways inks. I'm not sure, but how do you all feel about Byrne's children? Although there is that creepy Scarlet Witch's twins in the bathtub. Like, do not look that one up if you want to sleep tonight. Love something as simple and effective as like a big circle behind the character as there's, you know, trying to make a statement. Okay, that's questionable. No, I'm just critiquing his drawing of children, which I shouldn't. Love that. That looks... See, and that's what I like, kind of the consistency that Byrne would bring to the book in a way. Like, this is Byrne's art all over the place, obviously, but you see a panel like this, and you can't help but think of Jack Kirby, just the design. You know, he's stuck to the aesthetic of a lot of things like the Fantastic Car and the Baxter Building and stuff like that, you know. This, I always love a character under glass kind of trope like that. And like the big character above, it feels like so Silver Age. This is such a great cover too. Torment, another amazing splash page. Poor Sue. Psycho Pirate. Was his name Psycho Pirate? Hate monger, Psycho Pirate, like all that. This is a cool panel too. I love that. This is so cool. It's almost like they're in the danger room. Reed's getting older, Sue's getting younger, her parents here. Psycho Man. Psycho Pirate is in DC, by the way, but fighting Infinity Inc., so he must have been on my brain because of the Ordway. I love this panel too. Or a page here. This kind of reminds me of one of the Wally Woods panels that always work. This was so cool. See, once again, Reed. It's hard to say which character Byrne, although I think he said Thing was his favorite, but he just really has such a great handle and love and reverence for the character. Always like trying to push the envelope and have them do different interesting things with their powers and their personalities. And John Workman on letters, it has to be. I love John Workman letters. Like, one of my favorite letters of all time is so good. Another great cover. Classic, iconic. She-Hulk really gets put through the ringer here. This is a great double-page spread. Oh my gosh, so much detail. And Kirby was kind of always putting in double-page spreads, and I think Byrne picked that up from him, and I think Eric Larson does it too in Savage Dragon. And I feel like comics deserve a good double-page spread because that means bigger, more comic art. Always fun to see, like, could you imagine if only we had a device that could cause fear, doubt, and hate in everyone that was handheld. Oh, I guess we do. Just so much fun. I love this incarnation of the Fantastic, or the Human Torch. I feel like he should always look like that. you know, I appreciate them trying to make him look more fiery. Do we have Alex Ross to blame for that? I think we do. But I don't know. There's just something so classic and unique to him in that, and his sort of matchstick looking incarnation. And this, oh my gosh, one of the most heartbreaking, amazing issues of not only the Fantastic Four, but any comic ever. Inspired by like the fact that the reason why Human Torch wasn't in the Fantastic Four cartoon, I guess it was the 70s or 80s, the one where Herbie the robot was in instead of him, was because they were afraid that kids were going to emulate the Human Torch and set themselves on fire, and which is preposterous, but I guess you could see it happening, and in this issue, it does happen. This is his big, poignant crossover, and I think that pissed him off that he had to make it a Secret Wars tie-in, but he still did his story anyway, and it's so good. It's so heartbreaking, like so relatable to anyone who's ever felt like a misfit or a geek. This is like truly horrifying foreshadowing here, and just like, how did Ordway not ink this? I think we're back with Al Gordon. Yeah. It truly is. Truly is just like, I can't even like articulate like what a great issue this is. Now, so She-Hulk, did she have to like feel her boobs to make this statue? She had to have, right? It's like, sorry, I do it all by touch. Another great apartment. I love the Fantastic Four sort of art just hanging there. Like, who would do that? Just so much fun, right? And here comes the Beyonder, splaining shit, mansplaining, Beyonder splaining, like a phoenix. Oh my god, I'm gonna die because the next issue, like, I always think it's like the best issue, and then I find another best issue, and this is the best issue because, oh no, it's not yet. It will be right after this annual. John Byrne's story and art, Jim Novak, Joe Sinnott inker. Oh my gosh, how exciting and fun. I love when Sinnott inks Byrne. I didn't back in the day because it looked so different and weird to me, but now that I know what I know, like, it's freaking amazing. And it looks so cool. And it's weird how, because it's so juicy and thick and unapologetically Joe Sinnott, but damn it if it isn't Byrne at the same time. What a great, unexpected combination, right? Although it should be expected. And, you know, as I discovered, Sinnott inked Byrne fairly often, like when he first started drawing the FF before he actually took over the book. So it's not as shocking or groundbreaking as I'm making it out to be. But to see Kirby Crackle done homage by Byrne and inked by Sinnott, I'll take it. Worth the price of admission alone there, kids. What a great, fun issue. I remember the sister annual to this, like the Avengers annual. I wonder if that's going to be in here as well. I think it was Avengers annual 18. Nope, 14, and there it is. Oh, and this is crazy too because John Byrne breakdowns and Kyle Baker finishes. How cool is that? I mean, Kyle Baker, one of the greatest artists ever, but so distinct and stylized. Loved his Plastic Man, one of my favorites. So it's kind of cool to see him inking Byrne here. He was probably doing pretty loose breakdowns, I think. If you're going to have someone like Kyle Baker to the party, you're asking them there for a reason. Not to just be an inker, but a finisher. An inker is more of tracing full pencils, and a finisher is sort of embellishing and adding line weights and shadow to looser pencils, layouts, or breakdowns, as they were called. See, you didn't know that my channel was entertaining and educational as well, did you? I mean, Lord help you if you're still with me 781 pages into it and almost an hour. I mean, now I can die. I hate this, by the way. Like, cropping the cover to put this shit on there. Like, no, I don't like that at all. Some of the designs on the omnibus are not great. the aesthetic of these should be flawless, and I wish I were in-house designing them, but I'm not. You know who, writer and penciler, Terry Austin guest anchored. That's why I want to cry. Glynis Oliver, colorist. I mean, if only Tom or Zukowski were lettering as well, then we would truly have the band back together. However, I will take my beloved John Workman's letters. This is so good. The beginning of X Factor, the reunion of the original X-Men, which had to involve, of course, the resurrection of Jean Grey, which many people lamented. And now that she's back, how do we feel about it all these years later? Should she have stayed dead? I say yeah. Some characters are just better dead. I'm just kidding. I know I'm going to get a lot of resistance for that and flack. Also love about this is like Byrne, like sort of revisiting X-Men 101, like where this Phoenix crap happened. It's so weird to think that the Phoenix that we knew was never the Phoenix. She's always been in a cocoon in Jamaica Bay or whatever, getting all waterlogged. Oh my gosh, I wanted to cry when I saw panels like this. I must have read this issue like a bazillion million times when it came out. I was so excited to have Austin on inks and have the X-Men sort of appearing in the FF at the same time. It was so good. And the Avengers here too. I mean, clever, right? You know, it makes sense, especially with Hidden Years, that Byrne probably would have wanted to have done X Factor. And it probably would have been really good by him. Although I did enjoy it. That face looks so crazy. That is so wild. It is so interesting to see this. I feel like this is probably one of the last times Byrne and Austin would work together. And it's so crazy to see how different the art looks from their run on the X-Men. It's divine in itself, but in a different kind of way. Love this whole flashback scene. This was so crazy. I remember just like dying when it came out. So good. And then so weird to go from Terry Austin to this bizarre cover, by the way, to Joe Sinnott on the inks, and I do love it. I have to say, it's so good. Jim Novak, letterer. What happens to my beloved John Workman? But Jim Novak, I'll take him too. Jim Novak is like such a great letterer. Like easily one of the best comic book letterers ever. This is cool and fun too. I remember this issue when it first came out. But I remember thinking how weird Sue looked very different. Like he's almost not drawing her. Just fun, different uses of their powers. That one cracks me up for some reason. And who? I guess, you know, I feel like we're getting near the end here. And maybe Ordway has left the building. This feels like more Sinnott. The Beyonder. I mean, wow. What is he like the white Captain EO? What is that? Like, I can't even, I mean, but at the time I didn't know I wasn't supposed to like him or that he was ridiculous. And we ate it up. Me and my brother loved every single minute of Secret Wars 2, all the crossovers, whatever Marvel was giving at the time. We were spoon feeding and leaving in no crumbs, I will tell you that. Help! Who's the anchor here? It's crazy. I didn't realize how much of how many issues the final run. Other this, I would feel like we're back with Al Gordon again. Blast Art. Oh my gosh, so cool. Like, see how much, like, Kirby can't help. I think that was, like, one of the greatest, what makes Kirby, what made him and makes him continue to be one of the greatest comic book artists of all time is that his stuff, his designs were so distinctly him and so unique and individual that even if they're drawn by somebody else, they look like his design, if that makes sense. That, see, now this I can truly appreciate because this mirrors kind of what Kirby was doing with his collage photocopy art back in the day. And this feels more like appropriate use of it rather than just random cityscapes all the time, right? Like the jagged teeth, the big square shapeness, like total Kirby. Malice is reborn. I mean, what the hell? I feel like I missed a lot of like the end of his run because I don't know, we were moving and stuff like that, and you know, the shit happens when you're a kid and whatever. Lettered by John Workman, written and penciled by John Byrne, inked by Al Gordon. This is so cool. This feels so retro, right? You know, and I feel like, you know, there's been plenty of times where Sue has sort of taken the role of leadership in the FF, so it's not that big of a stretch to make her the leader in the FF movie, but I don't know. It's, you know, I feel like it's a mistake because, like, just certain things, like, we need to have the classic version at least once, you know what I mean? Like, the Silver Surfer deserved to be Norin Rad the first time around, you know, and then bring on Shalabal or have Julia Garner be Nova in the second movie or something like that, you know what I mean? But I don't know. Maybe because there have been so many failed attempts, there are certain aspects that they didn't want to wait to get to or something. I love this panel. That is so gorgeous. It's so interesting to think that, and this is crazy to me too, they go back in time and then we get to see like Adolf Hitler and stuff. And that takes me right out of a comic book, I will tell you that much. Who is the inker here? I feel like it's someone like P. Craig Russell or somebody crazy like that. Yeah, P. Craig Russell. Like, how cool is that? I love seeing like such an unexpected, classic, beautiful, illustrative artist like P. Craig Russell just sort of drop in and guest ink an issue like that. Like, how cool is that? This was a great page. I love that. This is another great image. So, I mean, maybe it felt appropriate to the story. I don't know. Maybe it didn't. That's kind of cool. I love that gag. The tires turning into propulsion. This is so weird. Elon Musk, is that you? You know, I mean, for anyone who has any doubt what he's doing there, he's doing it. The man who dreamed the world. You know, it's so funny because I think that, like, comics have always been a sign of the times, you know what I mean? And so when they came out in the 30s and 40s, obviously, they were fighting a lot of Nazis. And it's so weird because, I don't know, it's such an icky subject. It always takes me right out to see it. But it's part of history, right? And maybe more important now than ever. Just saying. Love Nick Fury walking around. Byrne, you did Nick Fury dirty. Walking around in tighty whities. Hilarious. Oh my gosh, so much fun. In front of Sue, no less. But if it's to turn around and shoot old Hitler, then why not? You know, that old thing. Was that part of the storyline or not? I don't know. Like, would you go in the past and kill a baby Hitler if you had the chance? Like, that's the moral question. Because, you know, and the answer should always be yes. I mean, who cares if he's a baby? Babies turn out to be assholes, too. Tigra. I don't know. Yeah, see, like, I'm going to go. I love Al Gordon so much. I really do. But I do not think he was the right anchor for Byrne here. It looks so stiff and just, like, off in so many places. I think he's better. Like, I've definitely seen him put to better use. This is so weird, too. This is definitely the beginning of the end. Byrne would leave, and I think, did Ordway draw the last two? Or he, oh my gosh, Plotter. So I feel like, so when Byrne left to do Superman, he was supposed to stay on the FF, but Jim Shooter was like, yeah, no, you're not going to work for both of us. And it's a shame, too, because I feel like the FF hit a real crazy kind of rough patch after that. So this is interesting. Gordon's inking Ordway, and it's a little better. But so crazy, right? I mean, suddenly Byrne is just gone in the middle of a storyline, and Ordway and Roger Stern take over, which Byrne and Stern are good friends, so he probably entrusted him to take it over. So wild and weird. Like, I definitely think I missed out on this, or if I didn't, it was like enough to be like, yeah, John Byrne has left the building. I don't know. Holy crap, no way. I didn't know this was gonna be in here. I guess I should have known. The last frickin' Galactus story, written and penciled by John Byrne, inked by Terry Austin, lettered by Jim Novak, and colored by Glynis Wein. So cool. The art in here is drop dead gorgeous. Originally printed in Epic magazine, which would have made it larger. So now to reformat it, it's actually almost smaller than an actual comic book size, but I'm okay with that. And Epic Illustrated was canceled before this could be finished. And there's a way out of it. Scott Dunbier from IDW, now Act 4 Publishing, wanted to do like a collection of this and include like, have John Byrne finish the story, which he's written, and include it. I don't know if that's still a possibility. If anybody watching can make that happen, it needs to happen yesterday. It totally needs to happen. It would be a shame if it never happened. I mean, you see how gorgeous this story is. It's some of the best art ever. This might have been the last time Byrne and Austin worked together. I'm not sure. I don't know exactly when. If anyone knows the exact last time Byrne and Austin worked together, please feel free to sound off in the comments. I'd love to know. I think my friend Steven might have the answer to that. I remember like not reading the whole thing because I didn't have total access to Epic Illustrated at the time, but the few issues I got just like blew me away. Loved seeing John Byrne's art in a magazine format. So cool. Such a great character there. And what if I like the fun little random issues in here. What if the FF never got their superpowers? Very interesting, right? Special edition. That's a cool cover. Yeah, Marvel did like these special edition reprints, I think. Ooh, the art in here. A little rough and rush. Not sure what that's all about or where that's from, but you know, I think that he tried to lean into like what he thought was the style at the time. I don't know. Some great pinups. I love these. Namor. I really do love the way John Byrne draws Namor. And everything else. My goodness. From the issue of The Thing. Story and art. Issue 7. It's kind of crazy how Byrne would jump around. This was so good too. The comedy Marvel book. I was just talking to someone about the Super Pro issue of this. I gotta definitely review that for my channel. This is fun. I love seeing John Byrne draw his cartoony style. He was a frequent contributor to and it was always amazing. See, here we go, more And this, I'm not sure. I mean, it tells everything, but, you know. Oh, this, how crazy is that? That is definitely going to be worth the reread. And this was so funny. I loved when this letters page came out. And they were looking for a new hairstyle for Sue. That looks like Donna Summer. And, of course, someone suggested the mohawk, so Byrne drew it, and I love it. It's so funny. Yes, Sue definitely should not have a mohawk, for sure. Great. I mean, how many times has John Byrne recreated the cover of Fantastic Four #1? I think he finally put a moratorium on it. Was like, I'm no longer covering this. From Marvel Age, Fun Vintage Interview, Gilded Lily. Great. That's such a great picture right there. So cool. She-Hulk from the swimsuit edition of Marvel Fanfare? No, I don't know. Whatever it's from. John Byrne. Oh, how cool is that? Foom, the old Marvel fan magazine, and John Byrne contributed that. Love that. Duffy Voland. That name sounds familiar. Ooh, so cool. From Foom. I've never seen a Foom in my life, so very cool that's in here. Love all the extras. Oh, my brother had this poster. The benefit to my brother having the poster sometime was that I could see it from my part of the bedroom. You know what I mean? Like my posters that were on my wall, I wasn't necessarily looking at. So it worked out. I always love the fun house ads. There's something is sticking together in the back of this. Comic books were not made to be stuck together. Cover gallery. Of course, the She-Hulk. I'm surprised the She-Hulk graphic novel isn't in here, but it's in the She-Hulk Omnibus, so why would it be? See, just another Omnibus by Byrne. How crazy, right? How many Omnibi does Byrne have, I wonder? It's at least 5. The Hidden Years, I think, has an Omnibi. All this great Alpha Flight stuff, the Marvel Universe entries. I think this was like gonna be an original page. Oh, how cool is that? Love the Dark Phoenix. Yeah, they changed it up a little bit. Very cool behind the scenes. Hate the modern coloring. Yeah, it's too over-rendered for somebody like Byrne. Anyway, I cannot believe it's over. The Fantastic Four Omnibus by John Byrne, Volume 2. Once again, happy 75th birthday, July 11th, or July 6th, to John Byrne. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that like button, and I'll bring you more soon.